So welcome. This is April 2nd, and is it the 2nd? It's the 3rd. And I'm going to right now read to you some beautiful content that Catherine Winship wrote on copaiba. So important, I think, to keep some oil education in these calls, even though we're working on our businesses. So she writes, essential oils are unique in their chemistry. This is from Elena's newsletter that she sent yesterday, which I'm sure you all read, but even if you're hearing it again, so useful. Essential oils are unique in their chemistry, biologically active, and small in molecular structure and size, which means they can penetrate skin, tissue, and cell membranes readily. Cells are directed through chemistry. Essential oils interact with cellular receptor sites to sustain body with daily use or repair specific situations. My passion is in the daily practice. We can affect positive change in the body with the daily use of essential oils. An exceptional addition to the resinous oils doTERRA offers, copaiba oleo resin is sustainably extracted from copaiba trees in the Amazonian rainforest, similar to the way maple trees are tapped for syrup and steam distilled, as you'll see in the sourcing video, which I can link. Copaiba's main chemical component is beta-caryophyllene, a cannabinoid compound that may protect nerve cells, targeting your CB2 cell receptors in support of your cardiovascular, immune, digestive, and respiratory systems, as opposed to CBD oil, which targets your CB1 receptors, producing a psychoactive response. Since the 16th century, copaiba essential oil has been utilized in traditional health practices by the natives of North and Northeastern Brazil. Similar to black pepper essential oil, copaiba can help soothe anxious feelings with just a couple drops under the tongue. It can also be applied to the skin to promote clear, smooth complexion. Here are some of the ways that you can use copaiba. 3 to 4 drops in a diffuser. It has a warm and spicy aroma. Put a dime-sized dollop of fractionated coconut oil to massage into your feet, or rub 2 drops across your chest. So such an amazing oil to welcome. Hi, Rebecca. My screen was covered. So what we're going to launch into now is some money mindset stuff, as I said, which has been which has been rocking my world now. And I love the sharing calls, and I really sat with myself and also want to do content calls because I want to encourage you guys that when you have your teams, you'll do 1 week content and 1 week sharing. Okay. And so I'm going to model that for you. So to start with, I have a little story. I'm watching the Kennedys documentary series. If you haven't watched it, it's amazing. And there's a story from 1960. So basically JFK has just been elected. He's been in the White House for just under a year, a few months. And him and his brother, Robert Kennedy, who's the attorney general, which he placed him there, they're very focused on the space race, and they're very focused on beating the Russians in the space race. That's kind of like where they think they'll make the biggest impact. The Bay of Pigs have just happened. They feel like this is their way to really show America that they're an amazing country and they're being led really well. They don't care so much about civil rights because whatever their character is, but they were raised in a very just privileged, kind of protected world, right? They were Kennedys. They were raised in a very privileged way. So at this time, the freedom fighters are starting to integrate and change up who's sitting on buses in the South. And this is causing lots of violence and lots of upset. They don't do much, again, because they're just kind of like not woke, I guess would be like the 2018 term, right? They're not really it's not like one of their top agenda things. And, in the South, there are some people who they want to protect their interests. They don't want to get involved in ruffle feathers. So it's not on the radar. And it gets to a point where Martin Luther King is giving a sermon in a church, and it becomes surrounded by 3,000 lynchers. that are probably going to burn the church to the ground and kill the hundreds of people of color inside. So at this point, Martin Luther King is smart enough to call up Robert Kennedy and say, we need your help. Like, people are going to die. We need your help right now. And what's interesting is that though JFK was he was seen as very soft and charismatic, he was kind of like a hard kind of a jerk. And Robert Kennedy, who was the Attorney General and seen as very hard, he was actually quite the soft one, because he was kind of the runt of the litter of the Kennedys. He was actually quite kind-hearted. So JFK doesn't really want to get involved, doesn't really want to do anything, but Robert Kennedy's sitting there and he's like, okay, we need to send in the army, because at the end of the day, if a bunch of innocent people die, that's horrible. Hi Manon, welcome. Bonjour Manon. Bienvenue. So he does, and he sends in the army, and the church doesn't get burned. And that is actually Robert Kennedy's beginning to then actually get interested and get educated and take part in the civil rights movement. And so when I watched this yesterday, to me it was such a huge learning opportunity. Not like white savior, yay for the Kennedys. That's not the story at all. The story is that if you have money and power, even if you're not the most amazing human being, but if you're just care a little bit about people's lives, you can make a huge impact because you have a lot of money and a lot of power. And again, Robert Kennedy wasn't woke. He wasn't I'm going to make a difference and I care about this so much. He's just it's shitty if people get murdered. And I don't want that to happen, And because he was in such a huge place of privilege and power, he could do that. So I shared that because my journey with money, which is always evolving, has gotten I've noticed in myself, muddied up, and this sort of dual thinking of I'm either an activist or I'm a doTERRA presidential diamond and they can't coexist. Or I care about people, or I care about getting rich. And so I just want to watch those very insidious mindsets, because they can coexist. And where I've landed now is that I know that I'll be able to make a bigger impact when I can have a lot of money. And I will continue making a positive impact and doing the work that benefits the world now. But I'm very, very clear on removing money blocks and creating a mindset to welcome in a huge amount of wealth. I'm welcoming $500,000 a year is sort of the number that I'm focused on now, because it's a big expansion for me. It's 10 times more than what I'm earning now, So I'm calling that in. So that goes into doing money mindset work. And I'm finally, and Tiffany wrote to me, she's not on the call today, and I was like, shit, I wanted to give you some really awesome shout outs, because Tiffany's been telling me for years to read or listen to Jennifer Sincero's You Are a Baddass and You Are a Baddass at Making Money. So I finally, in a moment of financial panic yesterday, because I'm spending a lot on various things, just got You Are a Baddass at Making Money. And it is so freaking good. She's so funny. She's so killer. Jennifer Sincero, it literally means sincere in Italian. She's great. She was broke as hell until she was 40. And then she decided to turn things around. And she just is so funny how she would, everything was secondhand and she used duct tape to fix everything, and just really, really good. So she talks about doing various mindset reprogramming, and we'll do some of that too. And again, I want to preemptively share this, because when I was exploring some money programming, and I was also around that time, my more activist friends, Rebecca, Vanessa, were really looking at capitalism and that impact. And there was a sort of fear that if I do tap and ask for more money and welcome that in, I'm kind, and that doesn't feel good. That feeling that doesn't feel good in my body, it's not necessarily a money block. It's truth that this capitalist system is disempowering people, and therefore I should not do any tapping or money work or work on my blocks, because that will take away, I don't know, that will make me subscribe to certain capitalist ideals. Okay, very like heady, analytical Jen type thinking. And then this all has a point. So then when I was working with my coach in El Salvador, I had a goal that when I came back in March, I wanted to get stronger, hence why I've started boxing and stuff. I wanted to just get really fit and trim. And I told her, I'm scared of starting that because I used to have an eating disorder in my past. And I'm scared that if I start like working out harder and just maybe, eating less sugar and things, I'm going to kind of slip back into like bulimia, anorexia land. And she was just very nonchalant. She says, okay, well, what are the signs that you would be bulimic or anorexic? And I said, well, if I was skipping meals, that would be a sign. If I was throwing up, that would be a sign. And if I was like working out to the point of exhaustion, that would be a sign. She says, okay, so watch for those things. And if you notice that they happen, then you're kind of going down a negative path. And then you can reroute. So I say this, and maybe this resonates with you guys, but what resonated with me is that, well, if I start doing all this money mindset work, I'm going to turn into a capitalist pig who doesn't care about people. And if I'm ever making $100 million, I might, be harmful or hurt the planet or do all these things. So I've applied the same thinking, which is, okay, well, what would be some signs that I'm a capitalist pig who doesn't think about people? I don't know, like just whatever, not recycling, throwing trash out the door. Yes, I just thought this would resonate with you guys. I don't know, what would be some signs? I'm like shitty to people. Now the vision is if I'm at a place where I have like $100 million, I'm supporting some kick-ass programs. I'm making some huge impact. I'm donating to amazing causes. So I guess a sign would be like, well, I'm not doing any of those things. So write them down. So I say this to you guys too, because that might be trust. That's all comes down to trust. And my question is, I had to look and sit with it for a few months. And then at the end of the day, I said, yeah, you know what? I do trust myself. Like, I'm not going to be a jerk. I trust my integrity. I've been working on my integrity for a long time now. So I trust myself. So examine and trust yourself. Yes, you can at the end. My team loves to talk and loves to be listened to. Yes at the end. Yes. So ask yourself if you're trusting yourself. Make lists that would indicate when you're starting to get out of alignment and when you're not subscribing to the values and the integrity that you live your life by and you consider really important. Okay. Good. So let's take a deep breath. And we'll go right into a few little exercises with money. And I promise we'll do this for like 12 minutes and we'll leave 10, 12, 15 minutes at the end for your comments and questions. Good? Yeah. Okay. So the mantra is, I love money because it is the root of so much awesome. So see how that feels to say that. I love money because it is the root of so much awesome. And then I want you to write down 10 memories, get as many down as you can, 10 memories that in your life that are really, really positive and amazing because of, and money was involved. Does that make sense? So 10 things that you did, and I'll just list off some of mine, like a trip to Europe when I was 20, my master's, which was totally life-changing, and a trip to China, mostly travel at this point, shows I went to see, okay. You can just write down these, the titles and do them later if you want to. Now make a list of 10 amazing things that have happened in the world thanks to money. Positive things. or amazing things that cost money. The new super hospital that was built cost money, and it's got great facilities. Recycling programs cost money, and they're good. You know, science and technology. Okay, next, make a list of, once you have money, a list of ways that you will benefit others. That with this wealth, you will be able to benefit others. You can just say them out loud as you're driving, Jen Wendy. You're on mute. And this is one that I did yesterday. Close your eyes. Do this 5 minutes a day. We'll just do like 30 seconds now. And picture money coming towards you, flowing towards you. Just rest and bask in it. And notice what comes up too. Good, so you can try that after the call too. Literally when I did this yesterday, Gabby wrote to me, said she made an enrollment, and another builder who wasn't even a builder, she was just a customer, being like, how does my friend get a home essentials kit? Just wrote to me saying that. Oh, and this is a little trick you can do. Just like oils, start putting money all over your house. Like a little toonie in the bathroom and beside your bed, and something posted to the fridge. Just welcome it. Celebrate it when it comes towards you. And then ask yourself in your meditations, what are my money blocks? And literally, when I did this, I was so surprised. The first one that came up was like, I remember being 9, and I had a friend come over, and I think at that point, maybe my family had more money than her. And I remember her giving me some like attitude and making me feel really ashamed of that. And like, not a lot. We were like very similar, but there was just, and that might have not even happened. That's just the memory that came. So I had to like then talk back to whatever the money block memory is. So I had to go and say, Angie doesn't care if I have money. She'd probably be stoked about it. She has her own life and her family now. Like, who knows what it was? Me making money is like totally fine. I'm not going to get rejected or hated or that. So that one passed. And then another one came up, that people will judge me or think I'm not a yogi, or like, so I had to sit with that and be like, you know what? The people that I care about and love, they'll be stoked that I'm making a lot of money. And the people the haters are just going to hate, you know? And then just, so bit by bit, just watch all of them come up. And Jen Sincero, her big breakthrough was that if she started making money, her really cute father, who had been giving her money until she was 40, wouldn't be needed, and that would crush him. So that was like a big catastrophic, like spiritual breakthrough, mental breakdown. And she then would have to picture him being happy for her, proud of her, and continue to receive money if he wanted to give her $100 now and then, you know, and continue to be happy and to receive. So those are just some little exercises. And what Jen Sincero says, and what I've seen, is like, once the breakthrough comes through, try not to spend so much time just sitting and analyzing yourself. Like, go and take action. You know, just do something that takes action. Like a little, she's like, it's not that money comes from hard work, but it comes from getting fucking uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, and really not wanting to do the things. And I've actually got clear this weekend that my kind of next level of recruiting people is going to various offices, like door to door. Like, I am super uncomfortable. I like just don't want to do that. But I just know that like I'm not growing otherwise. Like, I'm enrolling people in the yoga community, but that's like ça suffit. I've kind of exhausted that. I almost have like every yoga studio in Montreal under me now. So it's like, I have to like try something else. So yeah, keep getting uncomfortable and keep taking action, because especially if you notice the pattern and then don't take action, it kind of gives the pattern a bit more power. All right, I've talked a lot. I'm going to open it up for a discussion, and maybe I'll stop record so you can feel completely free. So I hope all of you enjoyed this 20-minute video on busting through your money mindset.